Hey, what's up? My name is Chelsea and welcome to my channel. It has been a while since I've done an actual sit down any kind of video, and I'm very excited to actually be sitting down and filming something proper for you guys. So for today's video, I thought that I would answer some of your frequently asked photography questions, mostly the questions I get on my photography page, which is at Chelsea G Photography. I think there's about 5 or 6 different questions that I usually get. We're just gonna go ahead and dive right in and answer your questions. All right, so the first question that I'm going to answer is one that a lot of photographers get, but also one that I've gotten a lot over the last couple of years, and it is, what do I need to become a photographer? Well, in my personal opinion, you really don't need that much, especially because you are just starting. The top items that I would say for sure invest in from the get-go, obviously a really great DSLR camera, and you don't have to buy a super expensive one starting out. You can wait till you can build up your business and save some money that way, and then buy the exact camera body you want, but also do your research on the kind of camera that you want. There are tons of different camera brands out there and camera bodies and styles and all this stuff. Some of the ones I think are really great starter cameras are the Rebels, like the Canon Rebels. Those are really good starter cameras, and they can come in a starter kit, and that might help you out too, coming with some of like the basic get you started kind of kit. But yeah, the Canon Rebels are good ones. There's some cheaper Nikons, like some older-ish ones. I wouldn't get one super old, but an older-ish one would do the trick. I'm actually going to, I'll add a little link to my video of the tour of all the cameras that I have, because towards the end of it, I tell you the kind of cameras that I love to shoot with and started shooting with, and drop you some links for that and the exact types. So I'm gonna link that down below so that you can go check that out if you want to. So other than a camera, obviously, to start photography, you will need a really great memory card, and I will link down below the one that I personally love to use, but I guess I'll just go ahead and insert a photo of the one that I use. The next item that I think that you should invest in when you're starting is an external hard drive, and that is because when I was starting, I was taking tons of, I mean, I still am, but taking tons of photos all the time, like Shutterbug, Shutter Happy, constantly click, click, click. Taking tons of pictures all the time, and your laptop may not have that much storage on it. Obviously, delete the pictures that are blurry, out of focus, not great, people are moving in it, not ready, you know, those kind of photos. Delete those out, but then the ones where you can still play with them weeks, years, months down the road, you want to be able to have those photos to go back and re-edit if you want, or just to be able to use them to practice a new style that you want to do, or practice a new technique that you learned, something like that. So you'll want an external hard drive. That way you can put all of your photos on that, so that you still have plenty of storage on your laptop. And a point that was brought up to me just over the weekend, actually, if you had multiple shoots on your laptop all at once, your laptop can crash, and it will either make you have to re-edit the whole gallery, or you lose everything on your laptop. So you definitely want to keep at least a copy or the originals, whatever, on an external hard drive. The one that I have, I use 2 different ones. I have a Samsung T5. That one's a bit more expensive, and it has less storage on it than the Lacy. I'm gonna call it Lacy. It's that orange big block you probably see other YouTubers with. That's the one I use now. It costs around the same price, but it's got way more storage on it. I will link the exact one that I use down below. The other thing that I think is a really great piece of equipment to have when you're starting is a really good tripod, or at least a tripod. One that's not gonna break after you use it once or twice, but you don't have to go spend hundreds of dollars on a very sturdy name brand tripod. You can just use one that you trust to hold your camera and will last longer than 1 or 2 photo shoots. Okay, so another frequently asked question of mine is, how do you edit, or how did you learn to edit rather? So I love to edit through Lightroom. That is the editing software that I have used for, oh my goodness, probably 5 or 4 years now. I love how the mobile app and the desktop software, how you can link them together and you can edit on either one, and it picks up exactly where you left off. I love that. I love the control you can have over it, and the user interface on it, I like it a lot better. It's more simplistic, understandable, and easy to learn, I think, too. I learned through Lightroom, and the way that I learned how to edit my photos through there, some from YouTube, not a whole lot, but a little bit from YouTube, a little bit from looking at Lightroom's, like their educational pages on there. I think they've got blog posts So I'll link their page down below too that can possibly help you. But the other way I learned is from downloading, using, buying presets, going through those presets at the different settings that are on them, because once you apply them from Lightroom or in Lightroom on your photo, you can go through each setting on there and see exactly kind of what they've done to achieve it. And what I would do is I would go through and mess with the adjustments I wasn't familiar with to see how it impacted the photo, to know how I wanted to use it in the future if I wanted to, or if I wanted to steer clear of it, whatever it was. I think she calls me almost every single time that I've sat down to film, but I don't remember where I left off. Just going back to how I learned to edit, going through the presets, learning what each tool on there did in those presets that I liked about it, hated about it, whatever it was. And then the other way that I learned was just playing in general. So just uploading my photo into Lightroom and just making the adjustments myself to my own photos to see what I can get. I do think having presets, which I think there's free ones out there that you can get anyway. And I think Lightroom, it comes with some on it already. I think there are YouTube videos of people showing you how they personally like to edit, but definitely find your own style and don't just copy someone else exactly, because you don't want to be exactly like someone else. Another frequently asked question that I get is, what lens should I buy? There are hundreds of amazing lenses out there. In the beginning, the lens that comes in your kit, that one it's not a bad one to begin with and learn with, especially when you're trying to learn ISO, shutter speed, manual in general. To look a little bit more professional, you'll want another lens. And I would say the first lens to invest in would be a prime 50mm lens. I use one by Canon, but almost every single brand makes one. So do your research, find out which one's gonna work best and is compatible with your camera. So that's a good thing to note, is not all lenses are compatible with every camera. So the next frequently asked question I have is, how do you pose, people? And this one, I feel like there's not a very great answer. I know that kind of sucks to say. It's really a matter of practice. Going on Pinterest, pulling those photo inspirations and that you love. I know there's a lot of posing tips and stuff that are also on Pinterest, but saving those, taking out a friend, girlfriend, boyfriend, whoever, and practicing taking those shots is going to be the best way to help. And I think also having a tripod then too. You won't be able to move the camera as much, but you can put yourself in your client's shoes and fill out the pose, see how it feels, see what's awkward about it or what helps achieve the pose. But also, if you are hired clients and you're not very confident in your posing abilities or your directing abilities, fake it. I mean, that's the best way to get some of the results, is just to go into it being like, okay, I'm confident, we'll just play around. Or, all right, I know the 3 poses that I want to do that I'm hoping will look great once these people get into them, but don't be hard on yourself. Do be confident, because they'll want someone and feel so much better with a photographer who is confident in directing them into a pose or whatever it is. Because if you sound unsure the whole time, like, well, no, I don't really like that, or that's weird, they're not gonna feel comfortable. They're not gonna open up and they're not gonna have a relaxed shoot. So even if you're not very confident, pretend that you are. Okay, so the last question that I'm going to answer as a frequently asked question to me is, what is your favorite type of photo shoot? So personally, I really love editorial style and lifestyle. Obviously, sitting in a coffee shop, it seems like the client or the model is going about their regular lives, just sitting, sipping their coffee, whatever. I love those. And then editorial style is, you know, creating a vision and then trying to figure out what you want it to say. And it's not like typical poses, it's a little bit more artsy. So maybe it's artsy, maybe not editorial, but I do really love editorial too. All right, well, those are all of the frequently asked questions that I have had on my photography page, or just to me as a photographer in general. And I really hope that some of these answers to these questions have been beneficial to you and have helped you or taught you something somehow in some way. If you have any other questions about photography, being a photographer, starting photography, whatever it is, you can leave those comments down below, or you can DM me on Instagram. Again, it's at Chelsea G Photography, and I will leave the links to my socials and everything down below so that you don't have to try to memorize it. It's just right down there. And it's down in the description box of every single one of my videos. So you don't have to search for this one if you're trying to find it. You can go to any of the boxes in my videos. But I do hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. So do subscribe, leave a comment, leave your questions down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye.